Hey guys, this is Rachel from Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to be making the Gravity motif from the 2022 VVCAL. I'm starting with a slip knot, and I'm going to do chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain from the hook to make a ring. And now into the ring we're going to make a beginning DC, so that is just a single crochet with no chaining up and one chain. Right, and that's the first double crochet of the round. And now I'm gonna make a double crochet and then a chain 1 for the corner, and then 2 double crochet and then chain 1, and that's going to be your repeat 2 double crochet, chain 1, repeated until you have 6 chain 1 spaces and 12 double crochet. Okay, so here's how it looks so far. Okay, so I have 12 double crochet and 6 chain spaces, and the last chain space is actually still on my hook there, and I'm going to go ahead and make a slip stitch into the beginning DC, and I'm going to go into the chain of that DC. And then my next round is just going to be a single crochet in every stitch and space. So just 1 single crochet in every stitch and space around. So whenever you're done, you're gonna have 18 single crochet. Okay, so my round is finished and I have 18 single crochet, and now I'm gonna actually turn my motif over to work from the opposite side. So my first stitch is gonna be in this next stitch with a single crochet. And then I'm going to make a bobble in the next stitch. So you know the correct stitch because it's the single crochet that's in a chain space. So that way you can tell that you haven't put your first stitch in the wrong stitch. So I'm gonna make a bobble. So I'm gonna yarn over and insert the hook into that next stitch and pull up a loop and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And then I'm gonna repeat that 3 more times, and it's gonna feel like you're making a cluster because really a bobble is just a cluster. So now I have 5 loops on the hook. I'm gonna draw the yarn through all 5 loops, and now I do have a cluster on my hook, but what makes it a bobble is that I'm working it from the wrong side, and I'm just gonna make a single crochet into the next stitch so that the cluster, if you will, the bobble is makes a ball on the front. So when you make this single crochet in the next stitch, this is how you want to make that single crochet. You want to make sure that you go straight into that single crochet and just make your single crochet stitch as not as tight as possible, but just make sure that you really make sure that cluster kind of squashes down so you can make your bobble on the front. So for example, if you kind of go to the side and make your stitch, it's not going to come out as popped out on the front of your work. So just make sure that you really push that cluster to the front of the work away from you, and that way you can make your stitch look nice. So now I made a single crochet in the next stitch, and then I'm just going to do chain 3 and then single crochet in the next stitch, and then I'm going to do my bobble again. Okay, and you can double check you're in the right spot because the stitch you're going to work your bobble into is in a chain space. Okay, so now we're going to make the bobble. Okay, and now single crochet in the next stitch. This is why I work my bobbles from the wrong side. You kind of have to, because if you don't, it's never going to pop out. Okay, so now we did single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to turn this over and show you on the front how the bobble stitches are poking out to the front. All right, so now we're going to keep going and do a bobble in the next stitch. I just want to go over the repeat again. So we're doing bobble and then single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, single crochet in the next stitch. Okay. When you're finished, you're going to have 6 bobbles on the front. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of my motif round here, and I have a chain 3 on the hook now, and this is the final chain 3 of the round, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that very first single crochet. And now I'm ready to flip my motif back over, and you can see that I have my 6 bubbles. All right, so for our next round, I'm gonna go ahead and make 3 single crochet straight into this first chain space. Okay, 3 singles. And then I'm just going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in the bobble, and then a single in the next stitch as well. And now I'll do 3 single crochet in the next chain space. Okay, so you're just doing like sets of 3. 3 in the chain space, and then 3 across these 3 stitches. 1 in the single crochet, 1 in the bobble, and 1 in the single crochet. All right, so just keep going around, and this is how the round looks so far. This round is really going to turn it into a little hexagon. Okay, my single crochet round is complete, and I'm ready to make a slip stitch in the next stitch, and then slip stitch in the next stitch as well. Okay, and this is so that my next 3 stitches that I'm going to work into are the 3 stitches that are in the single crochet, bobble, and single crochet. So I'm looking at the 3 center stitches of the side here. So I'm gonna work into that next stitch with a beginning 4 TR cluster. So I'm gonna start with a beginning TR, beginning treble. So that's just a single crochet and then 2 chains. Then I'm gonna yarn over twice, insert my hook in the same stitch, pull up a loop and draw the yarn through 2 loops twice, and then repeat that 2 more times in the same stitch. Okay, now I have 4 loops on my hook. Draw the yarn through all 4 loops, and that's my first 4 treble cluster of the round. Now I'll do chain 2 and make 4 treble cluster in the next stitch. So just yarn over twice, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook twice, and repeat that 4 times in the same stitch, which is the next stitch we're working into, and that is the single crochet that was in a bobble. Okay, so that's how we look so far. Now chain 2 and then 4 TR cluster in the next stitch. And I'm just going to work that 4 TR cluster to show you again. All right, and this time I have 5 loops on the hook just because this is not the beginning 4 TR cluster. All right, so now I've got my 3 4 TR clusters in the side there, and I'm going to chain 4. And these 3 corner stitches are going to get skipped, so just skip these 3 singles that are in the chain space, and then make 4 TR cluster in the next stitch. And then you're going to chain 2 4 TR cluster in the next stitch twice. Okay, so these 3 4 TR clusters on the side have chain 2 spaces in between them. Okay, chain 2. One more 4 TR cluster for this side, and then we're going to chain 4, and I'm just going to show you how the motif looks so far, and then you're just going to continue around with these same stitches. Okay, chain 4. All right, now here's how the motif looks so far. Okay, and I'm going to keep going around until I get back to the beginning. Okay, so my round is almost finished. I just have to join, and you can see that I have 6 groups of these 4 treble clusters here, and I'm going to show you how I join into a cluster. So I just pick up all the loops that were used to make the cluster, all 4 loops in this first stitch, and then that's where I make my single crochet, that's where I make my slip stitch to close the round. So now I'm going to make 2 single crochet rounds. So this second to last round is going to be 3 single crochet in the first chain space, and then 1 single crochet in this 4 tiara cluster, 3 singles in the next chain space, and then this next chain space that's a chain 4 is going to get 5 single crochet for the corner. All right, 5. Now we're going to go into the next chain space with 3 single crochet, and then a single crochet in the next 4 tiara cluster, 3 single crochet in the next chain space, and 5 single crochet in the next chain space. And that's our first 2 repeats. And we're just going to keep going until we get back to the beginning. Okay, so on the completion of this single crochet round, I went ahead and made a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and you can see there's a little bit of turning of this round up, but once we do the next round, it will flatten out. So first we have some single crochet that we're not in the corner yet, so we're just going to make single crochet in the next stitch, and then in all of these stitches across until we get to our corner single crochet. All right, so just go ahead, start making your single crochets in every stitch, and then you're going to get to the corner single crochet. All right, so our next stitch is going to be the corner, and it gets 3 single crochet. All right, so now just make single crochet in every stitch around. When you get to, once you come up to your big chain 4 space, just start paying attention, because in your corner you have to put your 3 single crochet, and on this motif it's still pretty round at this stage, so it's not very obvious where your corner is. So just once you come up to this big space, just look for that middle single, and that's your corner to put 3 single crochet in. All right, so here is my motif complete, and I made a slip stitch in the first single crochet of the round, and I really love this motif. I hope you guys enjoyed it.